Hi, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining. Today, I'll be reviewing the market again, like I do weekly, and we are going to look at the real estate market in the GTA. And so, here we go. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. And again, this is live, and so if you do have any comments or questions that you like, just leave them below. I am reading the comment section, so I will be able to see your questions. Okay, so here we go. Is the market hot or has it cooled down? What is going on in the market? There is, over like there's news, and some people are saying it's a buyer's market, and the interest rates are going up again, and so we want to know what is actually happening in the market, right? And so a good way to tell what's going on in the market is to figure out supply and demand, right? Inventories, how many homes are on the market and how many homes are being sold. That's a very good what? I lost my words. It's a good sign to figure out how the market is doing. And so what I'm going to share with you is a graph that tracks the weekly number of houses coming onto the market, and then the weekly numbers of homes are being sold. I will also share with you about homes being sold over asking. So anything that is sold, at 101% and over. So if something is listed for 500 and sold for 550, that would be considered over asking. And that what we also want to track to figure out how the market is doing in terms of multiple offers. So we usually assume that anything that is sold over asking has gone into multiple offers, right? And so that's our only way of figuring out how hot, also how many homes are being sold over asking, to figure out how hot the market really is. And so here we go. Here's the graph that I would like to share with you. And how are we seeing? Let me just make sure that everything is good. There we go. Okay, so this graph you seen last week, and I'll be going through this graph every single week to figure out how hot the market is. And this graph has been graphing the data since COVID started. So if you haven't seen this graph before, I just want to do a quick review of what you're looking at here. So this is this little spike here, and where this green and yellow line begins is when COVID, a little bit before COVID started. So in 2020, when we had like a lockdown, you can see this little dip here is when we actually have the lockdown. And so this is actually tracking the whole GTA. So if homes in Durham, Halton, Peel, Toronto, and York region will be all included in this data here. So we kind of want to have a figure, a sense of how the market is doing overall, like not in specific areas. So if you're like, oh, I want to know how Oshawa is doing, well, it's going to be similar to this, but not exact. But this is just kind of like an overall feeling. The blue line at the top is all the houses that came onto the market. So in that week, how many new homes came onto the market within this GTA area? How many properties sold is the green line. And also, like I said, any homes that sold over asking would be the yellow line. And so as you can see, let's pick the last 2 months here. If we just want to blow this up, I'll be back to this view in a minute, but let's just take a quick look here. So as you can see here, this little dip here would be in Christmas, January, when everything's really slow, not a lot of homes are selling, and actually every home is selling, not a lot of numbers of homes were selling would be the correct word. And you can see in January, February, and March, you can see how everything that came on the market pretty much sold. So you can compare the blue line and the green line. So the blue line, everything that came on the market, and the green line, everything that got sold. So they almost touched each other. So everything came on the market almost got all sold. So in January and February, when people were saying that every home was selling, well, me looking at the data, I was saying, well, not every home was selling. There's still home on the market that didn't sell. So when they say every home was selling, I usually go to this. So every time a news article come out, and they say something like every single home is selling, I would go, well, okay, not every single home is selling, pretty much a lot of the homes were selling. And so same thing for today. When a news article comes out and they go, it's a buyer's market. And I go, okay, well, let me see if it's really a buyer's market. And I would look at this chart here to figure it out, right? And so it looks like right now, like this little line here that dips down, you can say, oh my goodness, there's no homes selling, like all the homes are not selling or something like that, right? But if we just kind of take a look at the numbers, if I just can go back to this view here, this is a great view to be in. Let's see, I believe it's this view. Here we go. Okay, so the month of May, as you can see here on the month of May, weekly charted here, all the new listings are here. So 2,910 listings came out in the first week of May. And out of about 3,000 homes, about 1,100 homes sold, right? So you can figure out, okay, look, like almost half of things are coming out selling. So that actually indicates it's a seller's market. Right? Remember, if you remember my other videos to determine what is a seller's market, what is a buyer's market, right? And I've shared with you that in a buyer's market, like 1 out of 6 homes selling would be in a buyer's market, right? And 1 out of like 2 or 3 homes selling would be a seller's market. And it looks like for the homes that are coming onto the market and the homes that are selling, it looks like about 1 out of 3, 2.5 homes are selling, right? And so we are definitely still in a seller's market. So when I see news articles telling me that, we're in a buyer's market, I usually go back to the data to see if that's true or not, because a lot of news article likes to make headlines so that you would click on it, hence called clickbait. And so I don't really rely on a lot of the news article, but I like to see how people are feeling. That does give me an indication of how people are feeling. They say it feels like a buyer's market. Well, if you were going to compare January and February market to today's market, definitely it would feel like that, because in January, February, if you can remember, a lot of the homes, I believe 80% of the homes were selling in multiple offer, and I can confirm that if I scroll up here. And if you can see here with me, January, February, right here of this year, like 70% of homes were selling in a multiple offer. And when people tell me all homes were selling in multiple offer, I'm like, well, not really. There's like 25% that were just selling, at normal. Let's go back again this month here. We're looking at May. So let's look at the week that just passed, right? Because that's kind of how we put like a pulse on the market to figure out what's going on. So it looks like last week, 2,600 homes came on the market in the GTA area, and you may get a little bit scared seeing that only 700 homes sold, but just keep in mind that a lot of homes haven't been updated yet, so maybe some are still sold conditionally. So we would have to wait another week to have this number revised back up, and so it would probably come back up to like in the 1,000 number. And so we can also track to figure out week over week how many people are deciding to put their house on the market, right? So 2,900, 3,100, 2,400, 2,600. So we're having about the same number of sellers coming onto the market every week, which is good, right? We're having inventory. Sorry, I just want to mute my phone here. And the number of sales is what also we're keeping an eye on to see how many people are actually buying all this inventory. And the sale number looks kind of pretty steady. Now, the thing to look for is within the next couple weeks, if this blue line here, let's zoom this in here. Ooh, there we go. So if this blue line here, so amount of sellers coming onto the market, continue to kind of be up here, and this number and the green line, how many properties are sold, are continuing to be here, you may see a even more softener in pricing as we have excess inventory, right? So if you understand supply and demand, the more supply there are and you don't have enough demand to match that, the price gets affected. So you want to make sure, we want to keep an eye on this in the next couple of weeks, right? So we're still trying to figure out how stable or where the market's going. Now, if you take a look at last year, right? So the graph looks, so this about here would be about the same time we are having about here right now. So last year, you can see there was a spike of inventory. And then slowly the inventory decreased. Like the amount of numbers of of sellers coming onto the market was not as much as, the February, March time. And yet there were still strong buyers out there buying a home. And so they were kind of absorbing all the inventory that was coming onto the market. And you can see here about, I would say this would be July. Usually when there's a dip in any graph, it's a holiday, right? So if you can come back up here, you can see there's a holiday here, right? And so you can see a little bit of a dip in activity. And it's last sold. A dip in activity, this would be this week here. So yeah, a little bit dip in activity is when you can see all the graph going up and down. So I believe this dip here should be July 1st, if I'm correct. And you can see that when there was a dip, buyers were still strongly buying homes, and they bought almost everything that came on the market, right? And so if we continue to have a lot of listings like this, like up here, right? And then this line here, like actually just continue to be like that, we're going to have a little bit excess of inventory. So I just want to keep an eye on this to see if that is true. Usually something like this would happen. And then, less inventory would come on the market. Buyers will start absorbing all the things that are currently on the market. And then that will kind of keep prices going up. But you do not want something like this, right? Well, sellers you may do, because then you'll get a good price for your home. But buyers, when you see kind of like the green line and the blue line kind of coming together, it's going to be harder for you to buy a home. So right now, if you're looking to buy a home and you can see the gap between the two here, this gap in here, that means all these homes are sitting on the market waiting for someone to buy, right? So that's actually a great time for you if you're looking to purchase a home. A lot of buyers that were trying to buy a home during this rate here, they were like, it's too hard to make multiple offers. They don't want to participate and all that stuff. Well, now is your chance, right? Now is your chance to go out there, find a home, think about it, do a home inspection, and then, be happy with the price and the purchase, and then take your time thinking about it. Whereas before, you just had to buy whatever was on the market before someone else did, right? So again, if you are looking to buy a home, this looks like a great time to buy. And now you're thinking, Susan, if you're saying it's a great time for buyers to buy a home, would it be a bad time for sellers to sell a home? Well, it depends, right? If you look at the chart, and I don't have it right here right now, but if you compare the price from last year to this year, right, you're still selling at a higher price. Now, you may not get this price here in January, February. True, because that was a different market. There was a lot less inventory and there was hardly any competition. Like there's no, if you came onto the market, you were like the only one in the area. There wasn't a lot of inventory. And now that the buyer has more choices, they're going to have a little bit time to think. And yes, you won't get this price, but still you'll be selling much more than you were last year, right? And again, if we have continually a lot of inventory come on the market and the buyers are not absorbing it, and you decide to wait to see what the market's doing, I don't know what the market's doing, right? Today may be the best price you're going to get for the whole year. It could be, right? So this is why I'm watching the market to figure out how the market is doing, right? Looking at all the inventory that's coming onto the market and then figuring out like how many are actually being bought up to see if the market is doing well. Okay? And if we continue to have a lot of inventory and not a lot of sales, then we're kind of, I would say in trouble. But we're not there yet, so I'm not trying to scare anybody. We are not there yet. You never know what's going to happen in the fall and how buyers react to the new, the interest increasing, I believe today or tomorrow or something like that. We got to see how they react, right? And let's just keep eye on this. Oh, and so before I let you go, sold over asking, which is the yellow line here, right? And you can see there is a gap between what are being sold and what is sold over asking. And it looks like more and more homes are selling just at a market value price and not over asking, right? So let's just take a look at that percentage here. So I believe it looks like 50%. Oh, not this. Oh, we gotta wait for this number to revise to get a good number. But in here, so it looks like here. 50%, 43% of homes that sold in the week before us, and then the 15th to the 21st, it looks like 43% of the homes did sell, sold 101% or higher, right? So still multiple offers are going on. Like that's 43% of homes that sold. So half of the homes, that's almost half of the homes are sold in over asking. So it's still a hot market. If you're a seller looking to sell, you're still a hot market. If you're a buyer looking to buy, well, half of the other homes are not selling in multiple offers. So you get a choice to pick. So I hope that helps you understanding. Let me just go back to just me. So there we go. So I hope that helps you to figure out how the market is doing in terms of inventory and stuff, and if it's a really hot market or if it's not a hot market. If you're looking to sell or buy or invest and you want to figure out how the market is doing for you specifically, feel free to drop a comment or a direct message me, and I would love to answer that for you. So that's all I have for today about how the market is doing. I will see you next week. Well, actually, I'll see you throughout the week about other information, but for this market review, that's it for this week. Next week, I'll update you again on how the numbers are doing. And that is the market update for you for today. I will see you all next time and have a great day. Bye.